What's going on, everybody? This one is going to be a little bit simple. It's going to be based around a very common React mistake that I have made several times, that tons of other people I see make a lot, and it is not paying attention to how React apps re-render things. So this is going to be very simple. I'm going to open up the app right here. This is a simple clicker problem. Okay, so you've seen a billion clicker problems. If you've done any tutorials in React, you've seen a clicker problem where you click one button, it's basically will change this number. We click another button and it will change that number. Now, this is designed to kind of show you a common pitfall with React. So let's take a look. All right, so we have our main components here. So this is just our app component. It's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. We've got a clicked counter. We've got a simple child that has num passed as a prop. And then we've got two buttons. One will increment the num number. The other will increment the click number. So again, very, very straightforward. Our states for clicked and our states for num are both held within this main app component. Okay, and we've got the exact same function here for handle click and handle num. Now, if we look over at our simple component right here, our simple child component, there we go. So if we look at our simple child component, all this is going to do is render out that num. Okay, I also have a use effect here. What this use effect is going to do is it is going to run every single time this function is re-rendered, and it's just going to print out re-rendered. Now, if we go over here, as we can see, everything works fine. You know, it's incrementing. We don't have any visible performance issues. Okay, so let's refresh. We've reset our state, and let's look into the console. Okay, so we've already got two re-renders here of our child component. That's going to happen one time on initial mount, and it's going to happen another time whenever our parent component initially mounts. So it's going to basically re-render twice, just right off the bat. Now, when we click num, we would expect this to have to re-render because the prop is being passed. So if the prop itself is updated, then obviously the component is going to have to update as well. So it's going to re-render. So if we click this num, we get a re-render just like we expect. Now, something that people don't expect as frequently, let's click on this click. Now this click button, if we look back over at our main component, this click is not passed as a prop. It's not passed anywhere into the child. So we would think, okay, well, this isn't going to affect anything. We press this click, and as we can see, we are getting re-renders. We are getting just as many re-renders as we did before. So what's going on here? What is going on is React will re-render child components every single time the parent component state is updated. So every single time this state right here, this clicked state is updated, we are going to re-render simple child. It doesn't matter if this state has anything to do with this simple child at all. It doesn't matter. Obviously, we would kind of expect, okay, well, we're passing num as a prop. So anytime we update num, it's going to re-render. Now, let's start thinking about things from a performance perspective. We are having to re-render all of this stuff every single time we click any button in here. That's not ideal, and there are plenty of different ways that we can fix this. Just right off the bat, let's get rid of this prop, and we are going to take all of the state for that simple child, and we are going to run it over here, and we are going to let the simple child just go ahead and handle its own state. We are going to let it graduate, become a simple big child. I don't know. And let's do const num and set num equal to use state. And we are going to initialize it at 0. Okay. Let's see, we can get rid of that. We no longer have props. And our code is a little bit simpler here because we're not actually having to deal with, basically any of the, state passing or props or anything like that. But here we actually need to copy over the button as well. So let's go ahead and grab this one. and head over to our simple child, and we are going to put that right below hello. Okay. Now if we pop over here, now it's going to have changed a little bit because the DOM has changed, so that's pretty much expected. But if we click here, that is going to change our num. If we click here, that's going to change our clicked. We're not going to worry about the re-renders here. Let's go ahead and throw this in a paragraph tag, just so it should hop to the next line, because I believe those are blocking. Yep, that's blocking, so we've got that good. Now, if we click over here on num, it is still going to be re-rendering. It's going to be re-rendering on the child prop. Now let's hop over here, and we are actually going to take this and throw it into here. Re-rendered parent. So this is going to run anytime our parent is re-rendered. We're gonna have to import use effects from React. Now here, let's go ahead and restart it. So we've got our parent and our child re-rendering. And if we click on num, we are not re-rendering our parent. If we click on click, we are re-rendering our parent and we are re-rendering the child. Okay, that's because the parent state is re-rendering, so it is going to re-render all of the children. Now, we could continue to break this stuff out by breaking out this handle click and breaking this clicked button down here and breaking that out into a separate component as well. That way we've got everything in its separate component, nothing is affecting itself. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to create a second child.js and export default function second child. Going to basically just recreate this const clicked set clicked equal to use state 0 turn div p tag clicked and the p tag except don't p tag and then ends the div. We're also going to need that button on click handle click. So this is obviously looking a little ugly and repetitive, but that's okay. Handle function handle click set clicked to clicked +1. I don't know why that's saying that. Let's do import React from React, and then we will need import use state, and let's go ahead and assume we're going to use effect from React. Let's see why that's doing that. No correspond. That's why. Expected token, because I am fat fingering everything today. Should be good there. Now let's go back to app.js, and we are basically going to take out that simple child and do second child, and it's going to auto import it. Now we don't need these at all. We don't need this at all. And that is going to be for the parent. Let's go back to our second child and do a similar use effect there. And let's just do console.log re-rendered second child. Okay, and we should be good to go. Let's see if it'll render correctly. Everything's rendering correctly. Now, we are re-rendering our parent. I think that's what we're doing. Let me make sure everything is labeled correctly. Simple child, re-rendered, simple child. Just making sure that my console is labeled so it's actually clear for me. So we're rendering our second child, our simple child, our second child, and our parent, and then we're having to re-render it all over again. That's something that, honestly, there's probably a fix for. I have not figured it out yet. But anyways, point being, we click num, and the only thing that's re-rendering is our simple child. We click, the only thing that is re-rendering is our second child. Because these states are separate, we don't really have to worry about re-rendering things that don't have to be re-rendered. Whenever we click this button, it is only re-rendering the thing that we actually want to re-render. Holding state in a global larger parent is a very tempting thing to do, but it is actually a very bad pattern that's going to lead to a lot of issues. Passing props down is something that is very, very tempting for folks who are a little bit newer to, React and kind of developing in React. It's a very, very tempting thing to do, but I would tell you that this is one of the biggest reasons why you need to avoid it, because you're going to end up re-rendering things without actually meaning to. This pattern right here where you're handling all of the state within the lowest possible component, that is probably the better way to write React, and you're going to avoid a lot of performance issues down the line doing that. That's about it. Take it easy. Peace.